Here on the channel, I've covered loads of great games for the Atari 2600. Games that have pushed the boundaries of what's possible on the system, from names like John Champeau, Daryl Spice Jr., Dion Olsthorn, and others. But not every game has to be a massive production that pushes boundaries. There's a place in the community for smaller games that are simple fun, and OLIONI Games is in the business of filling that void, with games that you can purchase as digital packages for about $4 a piece. Each digital package comes with a game file, cover art, and a PDF for the manual. For today's video, I thought I'd go through the entire catalog of OLIONI games, which at this point is pretty large, to show you each of their games and hopefully help you decide which ones you may want to pick up. These aren't reviews, but rather quick looks with some commentary. Enjoy. Alphabetically, first on the list here is Athletics Simulator. In this game, you play 3 different track and field events: the 100-meter dash, hurdles, and the high jump in succession. In the dash, you're racing against the clock at the bottom of the screen. Simply run to the right until you beat it. If the clock beats you, it's game over. Then you're right into the hurdles. Jump with the button to navigate these and make it to the high jump, where it's one last jump to hop onto the mattress to the victory screen that shows your score. In Broomfall Tales, you play as 3 witches trying to capture magical brooms before they smash on the ground in order to serve Malachar, the Mist Lord. You control the witches as one unit, moving back and forth to grab the brooms. When things get too crazy, pressing down on the button will summon Shadowclaw, a cat that will clear the screen, saving you from lost brooms. You can only do this limited times though, and collecting a falling potion recharges that power. Play and get as high a score as you can until you let 100 brooms drop. Next on the list is Classic Collection Volume 1, which is comprised of 2 early games that were published on the Atari Age forums back in the day, but eventually pulled down. Both of these games are early versions of other games that are on this list: Tank OVNI and Road to Atlantis. In Tank OVNI, you command your tank against alien invaders, and in the submarine game, you're a resident of the Aquatic Kingdom, trying to get home while being attacked by an enemy sub. Classic Collection Volume 2 has a short adventure-style game that seems to be an early version of Quest: The Sword of Fire. Here you'll have to navigate through a series of gates to other areas in order to get to the final room and claim the fire sword to complete your quest. The second game is Duck Shoot. You're at the bottom of the screen and the ducks fly a suicidal path directly towards you. The goal is to get as high a score as possible, but if you position yourself right, the ducks just come right to you and you can shoot them with impunity until you're tired of doing it. Classic Collection Volume 3 starts with a plane racing game, where pressing the button accelerates and the joystick moves you side to side. Hitting another plane or moving to a cloud stops you moving, but you can't actually lose. Just keep playing until you don't want to anymore. The second game is a quest for powerful ice boots. Find the goat man, then build a log cabin while avoiding woods before traveling to retrieve the boots. Dangerous City has Detective Code hunting down criminals involved in drug trafficking in the mean streets. The game plays over 3 stages. First is an obstacle course where you run and jump over blocks on the sidewalk. Second is the driving stage where you have to avoid oncoming vehicles in order to get to the final screen where you're in a gunfight with one of the bad guys. In this last screen, move your reticle over the enemy and shoot with the button. Once you've gotten one, there are many more, so the game loops back to the first screen to do it all over again for points until you lose all your lives. Next is Dangerous Pollination. Here you're a butterfly just trying to enjoy the flowers in the garden, but there are dangers here. You move with the joystick and shoot with the button, but when you're moving, there's a constant downward pull on you, making precise movement tricky. Grabbing a flower gets you points, but touching any of the greenery will cost you a life. There are 2 bosses here, a bird and a spider. Both match your movement and shoot at you. Shooting them enough times opens a path for you to proceed. This is a short game with the goal of getting as many flowers as you can while not dying for a high score. Deadly Skiing has you as John Eagle Peter, skiing the most dangerous mountains in the world. On some screens, you move as you would in any other game, and on other screens, you'll move automatically but have to guide your skier to avoid obstacles and enemies. You'll come across logs, wolves, and even the abominable snowman. But if you can make it through everything, you'll get a victory screen. In Dinosaur Run, you play as a dinosaur running through the desert looking for shelter, as your days are numbered with an asteroid headed towards Earth. Your dinosaur runs on its own, and all you have to do is jump over obstacles by pressing the joystick up. This sounds easier than it is though, as you actually have a lot of minute control over the jump. If you jump too high, your dinosaur drops immediately, and you'll have to watch for that too. You only have one life, so missing a single jump ends your game, leaving you to press the button to try again. Once you get more used to the mechanics here, it's easy to lose some time to this one. Dodge It is a classic evasion game where you play as a bear dodging bombs bouncing around a playfield. The screen starts with one bomb, then you have to collect hearts, and each heart you grab adds another bomb that you have to avoid. Grabbing 4 hearts gets you a little jingle before advancing to the next stage and doing it all over again. This is a simple and addictive game that you'll probably find yourself saying, just one more game. Donkey Driver is an incredibly simple game where it's a battle between you, a driver, and all the donkeys that for some reason are hanging out on the road. You have to move the car left and right to avoid the donkeys. It's really easy at first, but as the stage progresses, your car moves nearer and nearer to the top of the screen, making the reaction time required for success lightning fast. If you can win 5 rounds before the donkeys do, you win. Eagle Rescue and Eagle Rescue Deluxe are 2 versions of the same game, so you don't need both. My recommendation is the deluxe version that has slightly better graphics. You play as a rescue helicopter saving people from a high-rise building that's been damaged by an earthquake while racing a timer. Carefully pilot your helicopter to the balconies on the building so that the people inside can climb aboard. Not every balcony has a person to save, so watch through the windows to see if there's anyone there. Once your helicopter is full, return to the ground in order to bring them to safety. This is one of the more involved games from OLIONI, and requires careful piloting in order to not crash. The deluxe version also includes Treats to Cats, more of a screensaver where you watch 2 AI-controlled cats compete on their own. You can root for either Sid or Atari. In Egyptian Relics, you play as Professor James, as represented by this small block, and your task is to retrieve gems and relics from a series of rooms in an ancient tomb. You have 3 lives, and dangers as you progress include rolling rocks, dangerous blades in dark rooms that require illumination by pressing the button, as well as monsters in the deep that will chase you. Passing each room presents you with a victory screen. Escaping from the Moon has you as a scientist sent to the moon to investigate supposed movement. Little did you know that there was more than you could ever have anticipated. Your ship has been damaged upon landing, so you have to collect the scattered pieces while avoiding enemy beings and getting to your spaceship. This is a very short game, but fun for what it is. I'd love to see them expand on it. Ferrari Horizonte Racing is a vertical racing game where pressing the button applies the gas and you steer with a joystick. As you drive, you'll encounter a variety of vehicles including cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Collision with any other motorist results in a game over. There's an urban circuit and a mountain circuit, and when you make it through both, you get a victory screen with your score. It's short and challenging. Frog Swamp is a platformer where you play as a frog trying to get home. Hop through screens avoiding snakes and navigating obstacles in order to make it through. The jumping mechanic here takes a little getting used to, but once you get it and figure out the way enemies spawn and move, it's a pretty enjoyable game. There is an ending here, but I haven't reached it yet. Frontier's Balloon is a shooter where you play as a biplane with side-mounted drones that fire. Navigating through tight areas, shoot enemy helicopters, tanks, and soldiers before they shoot you. You have limited fuel, so when you see a hot air balloon with a big F on it, don't shoot, but rather touch it to refuel. This is a really tough game, because with your drones, you have a wide stance, making it so that you can't maneuver much. Keep fighting and get as high a score as you can. In Ghost Stories, you're a friendly ghost simply trying to eat candies in order to maintain your energy. Unfortunately, the spirit providing them is also dropping lethal proton beams that will kill you. Move your ghost side to side and jump with a button to avoid proton beams and collect candies. When the candies drop, they bounce to the left, so staying on that side will allow you to grab them. Once you get 25, the pumpkin up top changes to a wizard and the speed increases, with further increases at 50, 75, and 100 points. Lab B1 V-Jolt is a puzzle game where you have to change all the squares in the play screen on the left to be dark. Move your control stick on the right to select where to activate, and then press the button to do so. All the corresponding squares in a cross pattern on the left will then invert. This is a magic cube game, and I'm terrible at them. But if you like these kind of games, it's a pretty solid one. Next we have Little Red Riding Hood, which is similar to Frog Swamp, where you're just trying to get to Grandma's house. Enemies here include the familiar snakes, bears, crows, and even the big bad wolf. The jumping here is different to the frog and more standard to what you might be used to. Getting to the end gives you a victory screen, and no, I haven't beaten this one yet either. Maritime Wars is a submarine game where you're trying to get supplies to your troops on the other side of the ocean, but the enemy has dispatched their own submarines to stop you. Depending on the screen, pressing the button will either shoot up or forward, and each enemy has a different pattern to overcome. Getting through all of them results in an end screen with your score. It's super short. I'd like to see this one expanded into a longer game. Mouse vs. Cat is your classic matchup. You play as a mouse in search of some nice cheese, but there's a cat that will relentlessly chase you. You'll have to deke the cat out and get past it on many screens. And you'll need to be very precise with your movement, as it's easy to get hung up or caught on an edge or corner. On later screens, the walls are electric, making things even more dangerous. You have 3 lives, and once they're gone, it's game over. There is an end screen, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Quest, the Sword of Fire, is an adventure-style game where you're trying to retrieve the legendary sword to protect it from falling into the wrong hands. Collecting keys, weapons, and taking a steel ship across a river of lava, you'll have to confront everything that comes your way in order to complete your mission, including selecting the right key near the end. Getting to the sword provides a victory screen. Return to Earth is a sequel to Escaping from the Moon, where you're just trying to get home, but the aliens you escaped from are going to try and stop you. Navigating asteroids and battling enemy ships through a series of screens with different challenges in each. There are 4 enemy warriors that you'll have to defeat, with different attack methods, in addition to a variety of other screens. I've gotten close to beating this one, but just fallen short. I'll get there though. Skull Island Treasure has you navigating pirate coves and fighting sea creatures in an attempt to find a long-lost treasure. You pilot your ship through a variety of screens that will require different skills to get through, such as battling currents and moving through dark caves. You'll also have to fight a giant crab, evade a tornado, and eventually confront the Kraken before claiming your prize. Slenderface is a demake of the Slenderman game, where you're trying to collect 8 pages while an evil presence hunts you. The wander mechanic isn't here, as you'll have a pretty direct path to chase down all the pages, but it nails the feeling pretty well. Moving to a new screen, sometimes Slenderman will be there chasing you, and the music gets louder, adding to the stress. Once you make it in the building, you have flashing lights and a more fixed Slenderman to avoid. Collect all 8 pages to win. Spider Attack is a shooter where you play as a spider trying to escape a trap laid by other spiders. Traveling through dangerous corridors, avoid touching any walls, and shoot enemy spiders by pressing the button, trying to last as long as you can. At the bottom right of the screen is an energy bar that will drain. To keep it topped up, you'll have to shoot and collect energy fluid as you move through the stages. But the further you progress, the less often they'll show up. This is another one I haven't beaten yet, but it's one that I want to come back to. Star AD is a space shooter where you're a space police officer on patrol going after space bandits. Pass through an asteroid field before going through space caves to retrieve a stolen capsule, and then invade the pirate base to take on James Black, the final boss. The first 2 stages here aren't too bad, but the 3rd stage is really difficult, so I haven't made it past that yet. Touching anything costs you one of your 3 lives. Steamboat and Biplane is a 1 or 2 player game where one player plays as a boat and the other as a biplane, trying to shoot each other. Move left and right, either fast or slow, to get yourself into a position where you can hit your opponent. The first player to succeed in shooting down the other 8 times wins with a fireworks show. There are 3 modes: 2 player or playing as a boat or plane against the computer. In Submarine Rescue, you're trying to save the crews of 3 research submarines in progressively deeper regions of the ocean, near an underwater volcano that has trapped them there. Maneuver through the underwater caverns while fighting the current and even scaring off some deep-sea creatures. There are traps here, so you have to make sure you take the right path. But if you're careful, it shouldn't take you long at all to save all 3. Summer Race has you speeding through the water in a speedboat that is very hard to control. You rocket forward and have to fight for control by pushing to the left to hold yourself back through 3 circuits, the green, yellow, and red, with increasing difficulty. The courses are full with rocks and even swimmers. There's an easier difficulty here, but I'm determined to finish this in hard mode. The one thing I will say is that the game over screens should be a little less jarring in a lot of these games. This one in particular is really loud. In Super Combat, you're a tank commander on a mission to invade enemy territory. On the way, you're going to have to battle through wave upon wave of enemy armor. Proceed down the road and fight off each tank you encounter in sequence. Once you progress far enough, enemy planes will fly over and drop bombs that you'll also have to avoid. Keep fighting until you make it all the way through and finish your mission. I haven't beaten this one yet, but it's on my list. Tank OVNI is another tank game, but this time you're fighting off aliens attacking the cities of Earth. The game plays in 6 successive one-on-one battles with different alien ships. They all play pretty much the same, where the alien will perfectly mirror your movement and you'll have to get your shots to land while dodging theirs. This game loops, and the goal is to get as high a score as you can. T-Bot 2600 is an adorable little guy that just wants to go and explore the world, and it's your job to guide him there. This is a platformer where you'll have to navigate a variety of different screens with pitfalls and enemies. T-Bot is an open world concept and can only be beaten by exploring and finding the path to escape. I haven't found that path yet, but I really like the feel of this one, so you know I will eventually. Tennis Simulator is a Pong-style game where you can play against a computer or a friend. Simply move up or down to intercept the ball and keep it in play. If it passes you, your opponent scores a point, and if it passes them, you get a point. There's also a training mode where you play by volleying the ball against a wall. The Dragon's Cave is another adventure-style game like Quest: The Sword of Fire. Here, you're tasked with making it to the dragon that has been tormenting villagers. Picking up gold and diamonds on your way while avoiding enemies and obstacles, make it to the dragon's lair and battle for your life while the walls close in on you. Victory presents you with an end screen with your score. I'd love for this concept to be expanded into a longer game. The House of Mystery is more of a horror experience rather than a game. You play as a real estate agent sent to evaluate a remote home on the top of a hill where the former residents mysteriously disappeared. Exploring the house, you discover a body, and then you're accosted by a serial killer bent on adding you to the body count. Escaping gives you a victory screen. The manual for this one promises an upcoming sequel. The Road to Atlantis puts you in a submarine traveling to the fabled Atlantis at the bottom of the sea. As you travel through tight passageways, you'll be shot at by enemy submarines, so time your movement to get through unscathed on increasingly difficult screens as you move deeper and deeper. Making it to Atlantis results in the success of your mission. In The Skull, you play as the Punisher from Timu, a rogue law enforcement officer that survived a trap sprung on him by ruthless gang. Now, he's out for revenge. You play as a reticle of your gun, watching the evil streets. Don't just shoot everything though. You don't want to kill innocent civilians. Wait until a person, car, or helicopter starts flashing, revealing it as a gang member, and shoot them before they shoot you. After a short period, they'll get their shot, and if you're shot 3 times, you lose. The Survivor has you as a secret agent fighting a series of robots on missiles. Hitting pretty much anything hurts you, So gingerly shoot each foe enough times to destroy them and retrieve the key for the next room to advance. This is a challenging game, but if you're patient, the missiles are pretty easy to tackle. The final robot, though, I haven't mastered. I'll get there. Wingsuit Hardcore is a simple game where you're careening down 3 mountain courses. The green, the yellow, and the red. Each of them increases in difficulty. Reaching the end of all 3 stages brings you to a victory screen that displays your score. You have 2 lives though, so if on the way you bump into the walls twice, it's game over. And finally, World Weight is in the same kind of vein as other sports games where you have to spam right and left on your joystick. When the whistle sounds, press a button and move left and right to increase the strength bar on the right. When it's high enough, press a button again to lift the weight. If you're able to hold it until the countdown ends, you'll advance to the next stage where things will get more difficult. If you fail 3 times, it's game over. And there you go! All the current offerings from OLIONI games. While not all of these are going to be for everyone, you're bound to find some fun here, and for the price, I think it's worth it to at least pick up a few that you might find interesting. You can purchase any of these at the link in the description. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video informative, and a special thank you to all my channel members. Your support means the world to me. As always, my contact info is in the description, and we'll see you next time on Mike's Gaming Gala.